But there's always this one little saying we say as parents, and it's, I ain't gonna tell you again. I ain't gonna tell you to pick that toy up again. I ain't gonna tell you to sit down again. I ain't gonna tell you to clean your room up again. You might as well stop wasting your breath, because you're gonna have to say it again. Today we starting with a definition, okay? Because I just keep hearing this word over and over again, and I know that I have been getting my fair share of lessons around this word. So the word is repetition. All right. We've all heard it. We've all had experiences with it. And we're going to dive a little bit deeper into those experiences. But according to Merriam-Webster, repetition means the act or instance of repeating or being repeated. Okay? So whenever I think about repetition, I think about how with our kids, we will tell them something over and over again. But there's always this one little saying we say as parents, and it's, I ain't gonna tell you again. I ain't gonna tell you to pick that toy up again. I ain't gonna tell you to sit down again. I ain't gonna tell you to clean your room up again. You might as well stop wasting your breath, because you're gonna have to say it again. And the reason why I know that you're gonna have to say it again, yeah, of course I've seen it. It's happened to me. But it's because God also does the same thing to us. All right, so we're going to do a quick little exercise, okay? Right here, right now. I want you to close your eyes. Unless you're driving, please keep your eyes open while driving. I'm not going to get on that because I'm a person, you cannot tell me to close my eyes while I'm driving because my eyes do close. But if you are driving, do not close your eyes. But if you are doing anything else where you are not operating heavy machinery, close your eyes. And I want you to imagine a time you know God told you to do something, but you weren't listening, or you got distracted by something else, and He had to tell you instructions again and again and again. If God has to tell us stuff over and over again, what makes us so hard on our babies when we tell them something over and over again? For me, it takes a long time, I've noticed. And I'm working to be in a place where whenever I hear what God tells me to do, I do it immediately. No questions asked. Especially now, whenever I continue to hear the scripture, test the spirit. And so let me get that one pulled up for y'all real fast. All right. So there are times whenever I know that God is calling me to do something, but I call it, it's my Gideon moment. And so I will, well, Lord, give me a sign so I know that it's you. But God, I don't know for sure. Like, maybe you can tell me one more time, bring something else in so that I know for sure that this is you and not just a me thing or not the enemy trying to infiltrate my thoughts. And He has definitely been dealing with me when it comes to this. And 1 John 4:1 says, Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits, whether they are of God. And so then it goes into, because many false prophets are going out into the world. But the part that I want us to focus in on is, but try the spirits, whether they are God. So whenever you hear a thought in your mind, try it. Try Jesus. First, ask Him. I mean, don't act on everything. Because if you are truly walking this life of Christ and you are in your word and you're spending time with Him and you're praying and you're praising and you're worshiping, then at this point, you know what God's word says and you know who God is. So there are some things that it's like, nah, that ain't of Him. So I'm not even going to try to test that one. I'm just going to cast that back on out, you know. But there's some things that we hear from God and He is like, try it. See. And through this, not only are we building that muscle to listen to Him and listen more immediately, but we also see that we don't have to continue that repetition. He doesn't have to continue that repetition with us. And so I'm not going to get too deep into our kids today, even though I kind of want to. But that's not where he's leading me to. So I'm going to dig into us. And it's so uncomfortable. It is so uncomfortable whenever the roles are reversed and the script is flipped back onto us. And we have to sit down and really reflect and be like, dang, God did tell me to do that like 3 years ago. But because it's not how I wanted it to work, I didn't do it. And it's even more so when we have those moments where we continue to ask him about the same thing over and over again. And he's like, I already gave you instruction. I'm not changing my instruction. So for me, I had a moment like that very recently where like all the pieces just kind of came together. So if you are very familiar with me, you know that I have a community called the Very Intentional Mama Village. The Very Intentional Mama Village started in April of 2024. And this village was something that initially, whenever I presented the village, it had a monthly fee on it. And I remember I was so excited. I was like, okay, I'm finally, getting out there. I'm putting my name out there. I'm doing something that's kind of scary. And it was like crickets. And nobody signed up. And so like I did the marketing behind the scenes because I had did a workshop first. And those who joined the workshop, they were presented the membership. And so, I did the behind the scenes of in their email, well, the marketing were in their email. Like I was saying, like, hey guys, until this day, you can you can become a part of the membership for this price before the price goes up. And it was just crickets. I mean, it wasn't no out the wall price. It was, if I'm mistaken, like less than $30 a month. Yeah, it was like less than $30 a month. And so God gave me three. And it's so funny when he works in threes. I love it. But at the same time, I'd be like, all right now. But he gave it to me in threes. So first, I had a friend who said something about her community. She was like, I know that God is calling me to make this community free and to build up my presence. And so I was like, yeah, if that's what he's telling you to do, go ahead. Second time, I had a friend who was actually came to the workshops, loved it, was like, I really want to be a part of the community that you're putting together. She was like, but Aaliyah, I do think that you should do it free for a time period until people get to know you. And I'm like, that kind of sounds real familiar to what my friend doing. Okay. I'll keep going. Then there was an opportunity that I had, and I was talking to the guy, and he didn't know anything about what was going on behind the scenes for me. But he shared how, with the work that he was doing, that God had told him and his partner to continue doing it for free, and that everything else will be added, upon them following that direction. All right, I heard free, and free. But I wouldn't let go of it being free. Like in my head, I'm like, okay, but God, if I make this free, then where does my money come in? Like, where does my portion of this come in? And so it has taken a year for me to finally say, okay, yes, Lord, I am fully accepting, because there would be parts where like I would accept it and I would say, okay, the community aspect of the village is always going to be free. Like I'm never going to change that. However, on the other hand, I would be building up a new platform that I wanted us to move over to and be like, okay, well, I'm going to put this price on it, but this stuff will be free, but this will have a price on it. And so like I was still operating in a double-minded, I was still operating in a double-mindedness. And when I finally took the moment to say, all right, Lord, obviously this is not something that I'm supposed to have like money attached to, point blank, period. So I'm accepting it and it's going to be free like your will. The exact moment I accepted that this membership, that the village was free, the next step came. He didn't have to keep repeating it to me then. Because at this point, okay, God, I hear you. But there's just so many things that I've been learning over this last year of whenever I started this. There was even this moment whenever I was talking to my son, and I think he was either wanting something to eat or he was trying to do two things at once. And I'm like, focus on one thing, son. Here he go again. I'm over here just talking to my child, and here goes God trying to give me a whole lesson in between his day-to-day life. And he was like, I'm telling you the same thing. You have all these ideas, and it's not that your ideas aren't great. It's not that I don't want to use those ideas for something. It's just that I need you to focus on one thing. Get that one thing done. I'm starting and I'm stopping. I'm starting and I'm stopping. I'm starting, I'm almost to the end, and then I stop because I'm bored. And he's like, focus on one thing. Whenever I give it to you, I'm not going to give you the next thing until you focus on that last thing. So if I have to keep repeating myself to you over and over and over again until you do the thing, then that's what I'm going to do. And we do the same thing to our children. We keep repeating it over and over and over again until we realize, all right, you know what? They ain't listening. Let me change it up. Let me change it up a little bit. Maybe now I'm actually going to go get up and I'm going to give them some, maybe they need it broken down some more. So I'm going to give them some directions that still leads them towards what I'm telling them to do. But now they're actually completing it because I've broken it down into a smaller step. I've chunked it. And I know that's what he's doing it with me. I know for a fact that whenever I started this, that God gave me something probably like some years ago. If I go look through one of my journals, I'm willing to bet money that there's something attached to what I'm doing right now that he tried to tell me before. But because I didn't go and do it immediately, he was like, all right, I keep repeating the same thing over and over and over to her again. And she still ain't. Let me just chunk it down some for her. I always heard, I'm not going to tell you again. And I mean, I've even said it before. But once I finally thought about my children's development, and even when I started to reflect and learn about myself, I realized we all need the reminders. Tell me how many times, because I used to do this where I would put reminders in my phone and it'd be like a reminder to work out. Oh, okay, the reminder's going off. Cool. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. Next day. Oh, it's about that time again? I mean, I could do it right now, but it's not really what I want to do. Next day. There go that daggone reminder again. You know what? I'm going to let today be the day. I'm going to let today be the day. You get all your stuff together and you let yourself get distracted again. It's the same thing. It's the same thing when we talk to our kids. You tell your kids to clean up and all of a sudden they get distracted by the little smallest of things. And it's that redirection. Thank God for the redirection to get us back on track. I'm trying to figure out where in the world this is going. Like, y'all, when I tell you, every single time I record a video for this channel, I think it's going to go one way. And God just takes over and he does whatever he wants to do. I'm perfectly fine with it. I'm perfectly fine with it at this point because, Lord, half the time I don't know what I'm trying to say. But it's just this place of understanding, like taking a moment whenever you talk to your child the next time and you find yourself repeating yourself again. Stop and think, what's something that I continuously hear God telling me to do? And I actually hear my one thing as we're talking right now. And every single time I say, but God, test the spirit. I keep hearing it. Every time I try to make an excuse, but Lord, what if test the spirit? So matter of fact, I'm going to do my one thing. If you want to know what my one thing is, then go ahead and join the Very Intentional Mama Village. I'm going to drop the link in the description, but those who are in the village will know what my repeated instruction from the Lord is. And I'm showing y'all this in real time because literally I was about to type out the thing that I know that he's calling me to do. And I kept saying, like, Lord, I don't want it to just be called this. Like, I feel like this isn't just that. There's something deeper behind it. As I started to type it out, he gave me the title. Whew. So I say all this to say, whatever it is that you're running from God, whatever he's telling you to do, and you keep hearing him tell you over and over and over and over again, just go ahead and do it. It doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to look like what you think it's supposed to look like. Heck, there's some things that he's going to tell you to put out right now. For example, my keychains. So, these are handmade. I make them at home by myself. And I'm like, okay, but at first, for a split moment before I had made them, I wanted to think, but it's not perfect. But I would rather this be like this, and I want this to look like this, and I want to use this type of paper, and I want to do this. And he was like, I just need you to start. I'm not telling you to have everything put together right now. I just need you to start. So, and that's what he's telling you. That thing that he keeps repeating over and over again, he wants you to stop trying to make it perfect and just go ahead and do it. Stop trying to make it look like the great idea. And I say great because a lot of the things that we want to do, it's amazing. But he needs you to do that step that he keeps repeating to you over and over and over again first before you can get to that. So, what is it that he's calling you to do? What is it that is playing like a broken record over and over and over again in your head to go ahead and complete? If you feel comfortable, if you're brave enough, share it in the comments and let us know. And while we're here and we're talking about repetition, I am honored because I am going to be a speaker at the Create, Bless, and Repeat Summit. It is a virtual summit happening April 23rd through the 25th. And like I said, it is virtual and it is free. However, there is a VIP upgrade. And y'all, you want to be a part of this VIP upgrade. VIP allows you access to day 3, which happens on the 25th. And you get access to hot seat coaching. You're going to see panels of some of the speakers diving into some topics. And so that is what the Create, Bless, Repeat Summit is. We're literally going to dive into finding out how you can finally do what God is telling you to do. Let all those barriers fall down. We're going to be like the wall of Jericho. Just, okay? We are going to praise him and those walls are just going to fall down. But the Create, Bless, and Repeat Summit is so that you can finally find the time, because it's there. I promise you it's there. If I can sit down at this daggone screen and record this and my kids are still up, it's there. The grace, the capacity, the ability to do it is there. So if there's something that God has been calling you to do and you've been looking for a sign, hello, Gideon. If you've been looking for a sign, you want to be in the room. So go ahead, grab your ticket. We have general admission and VIP. Like I said, I ain't gonna lie. If I wasn't already a speaker, I'd be getting my VIP ticket so I can definitely get all that God is calling me to receive in this space. All right, that's all for now. I'll see y'all next time.